Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Wellness Week Live, Mommy Mondays. Are you a mom? Are you a dad? No? Okay. Well, you may be, you may not be. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week. Hey, right away, we're going to be talking about intentions. When people say, hey, my door's always open. You know my door's always open. Or, hey, you're always welcome to come. Thanksgiving, you're welcome to come. But they never really invite you, and your door's always open, but they really don't want you to come through the door. So do people really mean that? That's today's show on Wellness Week Live. Stephanie, how are you, my co-host?
Good. How are you, hon?
Steph has a $10,000 lighting scheme. She looks, I was like, what is this? You're going to have your own show, man. I'm like, you cannot upstage me.
I told you I had to wait for a long time.
Steph, I'm going to fire you if you invest in a $5 red drape. You're done. Out. You can't be. I better not see a red drape next week.
What if it's like a blue one? Is that okay?
Yeah, blue's good. Yeah, these are cheap. I got. If you saw my studio, you'd be like, "What is this? It looks like I'm operating in a cave." Anyways, but it looks snazzy. What's up, two viewers that are watching that are going to sign off in about 3 seconds? You sons of bitches. All right. So don't forget, I have a high-tech sign here. Like and subscribe to our channel, Wellness Week. Subscribe, and then you hit the notification so you could always see us. Okay, so we're talking about my door is always open. I know that was the second thing that we're going to talk about today, but let me, Steph, just go through for the viewers what we're talking about today. 3 topics. How much are we responsible for our kids from 1 year old to 18? Because, as they get older, right, presumably we're less and less responsible for them. That's number 1. Number 2, the phrase, my door is always open. People are talking BS. They don't really care about you. And number 3, why is it sometimes hard to forgive someone else? Oh boy, heavy topics. Okay, so viewers, type in your comments and questions and all that stuff. I want to hear back from you because you matter, kind of. All right, so here we go. My door is always open. That phrase drives me nuts. Steph, you've heard it. I've heard it. People hear it all the time. And a deviation of that, a variation of that would be like, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. It's kind of like, especially during the holidays where it's like you haven't gotten the invitation, but they do. Yeah, no, you're always welcome. Just come on in. It's like, well, I don't know like where you live or what time you're having dinner. So what say you when someone says my door is always open? I mean, basically what I'm saying is, I think we're living in a very passive aggressive society that we kind of mean things that we don't. And I'm guilty of saying some of this stuff too. What do you think of the phrase, my door is always open, or you're always welcome to come over? When you hear it, I mean, do you take it as sincere or do you take it as, I take it as BS, but what do you take it as?
So I have a handful of friends that mean it when they say it.
Okay.
These are lifelong friends, but like a handful, like literally 4. Everybody else, no. And it's something that I never say because it fills me with incredible anxiety.
Right. Like, damn, I'm going to show up.
Yeah. The idea that, when you mentioned this question, I thought back to when I was growing up, we have a lot of parallels. I don't know if this was the case in your house, but my grandparents' doors were literally always open. Like they had company cake, company cookies. They were ready for company. House was always company ready.
Yeah,
That's not the case. I find increasingly these days we're so busy. We have so much stuff. It's hard to keep everything clean. We don't have company cake ready for people. We just don't live like that anymore.
Yeah.
And if you stop by now, in a half an hour, I have to go pick my kid up and take my kid to practice and all this other stuff. So a lot of the times when people say my door is always open, I don't believe it. I never say it.
Yeah. My Aunt Lucy, may she rest in peace, growing up, literally her door was always, I used to go unannounced to that house and I would just walk right in. And if people were there, they were there. I would just mill around that. I mean, I say to myself, and this, I would say to myself, wow, like someone could rob them. And they didn't live like in some palatial, like, safe place. I mean, like they lived in kind of a nitty gritty area anyways. But, growing up in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s, I would just walk right in and I'm like, yeah.
Different time completely.
Yeah. So my door's always open, literally, figuratively. Yeah. So for me, I also take it as BS unless it's like a really close friend. But I try to also not say that now either because like I know I don't like it. But I was talking to a friend of mine who owns a business, and he's got a bunch of employees or whatever. And so him and I were having a conversation over lunch, and he's like, Anthony, I tell my employees, my door's always open, and I had the advantage to speak truth to power because he can't fire me. I don't work for him, and we're equals and we're friends. I said, listen, dude, you don't really mean that, do you? Because like you're telling your employees doors always open and they always can come talk to you. He's like, no, I mean it. Okay. I said, well, let me just say this. Okay, fine, you mean it. Out of the 1,000 employees you have, do you really think they're going to come to the boss, the CEO, the owner with a friggin' problem? No, they don't want to ruffle feathers. They don't want to. They're worried about their job. They're going to be, yes, boss. You're right, boss. Yes, boss. You're right. And that's assuming you're a nice guy. I go, he's like, well, that's not true. I had, a few people. I go, okay, you have 1,000 employees. How many came to your door in the past friggin' 10 years? Like, I know a lot of people. How many a lot? How many a lot? He's like, I don't know, 3 or 4. 3 or 4. In a decade, you got 1,000 employees. Guess what? Yeah, they're all perfectly happy and they have no problem. I go, listen, I know you mean well. Here's my advice to you because I own a business too. And I said, look, it's a nice sentiment that your door is always open and they can always come talk to you. And I'm sure you're an angel, I said to him. But if you really, really want it, first I want to punch him in his face, but I can't. So I go, look, here's what you should do. Forget about the doors always open business because that's just a whatever, that's a Hallmark card. You don't really mean it. I said, what you need to do is you need to go onto the front lines, whatever business you have. Okay. So I go, for you, buddy, you're going to go down to the office area. You're going to walk around the desks and, you're going to go out in the field and you're not going to ask questions. You're going to look and you're going to listen. And then you're going to see, oh, there's a problem there. And you're going to pull someone aside or just, hey, listen, how can I help you to do that? Is better than you being passive aggressive, sitting back up in the office where you're detached. That's how people lose their businesses or lose their whatever. You got to be out there in the front lines. No one's saying you have to work the same job as they do, but you got to get out there daily, preferably. And, it's for parents too, right? It's like, whatever. Yeah. Oh yeah. My kid knows it can come to me with any problems. Yeah, but are you watching them? Are you listening to them? And again, I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying, like, and as a parent, and parents out there, you are the CEO, you are the boss of your family. You want to be the parent until it's time to be the parent. Well, you want to be the boss until it's time to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the man and the woman until it's time. So get it. Don't ask, watch, look, and then just be proactive, lean in. Hey, I noticed this, I think we should do that. And then you get conversation happens, or whatever. Anyways. So that turns me off, especially when like bosses or CEOs or whatever, people who are rulers or the bosses of their family, right? It's like, they can come to me. No, we can't, like back to the show we had about the sex talk. You think your kid's going to come to you and be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, can we have the sex talk? No, you got to be the boss. You got to be like, hey,
I have to get that started.
We're having this convo right here. If you were going to say.
I'm trying, and actually it was your question that prompted this. I am aspiring to be the house where I'll say, hey, my door is always open. Because I think that's a nice thing to do.
Not bad. Right.
I am, I'm going to work on that. But I will say this. When it comes to my child and her friends, my door really is always open. So I prefer for them to come here than, for them to go elsewhere. So for that, yes, my door is always open to the kids.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And again, I don't think it's bad. I know people say it with good intentions. Hey, my door's always open, but my thing is like, I'm not saying you, Steph, but I'm saying like, how much I guess maybe you or me or whoever, but how much do we mean that? And so like to your point, don't.
Oh, I never say it. It fills me with tremendous anxiety.
Right. So for me too, right. So my advice to myself would be, Anthony, don't say it unless you mean it, and, anyways, so we solved that problem. All right, everybody, turn off. All right, so we're done. All right. So the other thing is next topic, folks. I got glasses on here. Let's see. Steph, we were going to talk about. I jumped out of order here, but okay, on to kids, right? How much am I responsible for my kid, and at which point in their life? Because kind of sad in a way. We hear about every day, it's in the news, one kid kills another kid. And I say kid, talk about teenagers or, oh, whatever, you hear this story all the time, well, your child is bullying my child. And, it could be 8-year-olds, So I hear these stories all the time. I'm sure we all do, whether they're through our friends or family or the news media, whatever. And it could be crazy bad, like, God forbid, people are gunning each other down, or it could just be like, your kid, pointed his finger at my kid. That's bullying, anything, right? So at what point is a parent, and how much is a parent responsible for their kid? I mean, I know, obviously, I think we all agree, if you have a 1-year-old, you are 100% responsible for the 1-year-old. What about the 2-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old, the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old? As the kid gets older, does your responsibility? Yeah, I mean, how much more does it wane or lessen, or are you as responsible for a 1-year-old as you are an 18-year-old? I mean, maybe people think they are. I don't know. So, for me, it's the sliding scale. At 1 years old, I am responsible for 100% of the kid. But at 18, I am not responsible, even though they are maybe under my roof, or at 17, because 18 you are an at 18
You're a
legal adult, right? So at 17, I am not as I'm still responsible for my kid at 17, but not like a 1-year-old, right? So I think everyone would probably agree with that. But now we're gonna get into the weeds here. So what do you say about this stuff?
I mean, legally, you're just as responsible for your kid at 17 as you are when they're 1, I believe.
No,
but I agree with you. Like the whole point of having kids, and well, at least in my opinion, anyway, when you have children, your job as a parent is to increasingly give them independence so that when they become 18 and they're adults, they're able to spread their wings and fly and be on their own. So yes, that sliding scale, I think, is absolutely true. You're less responsible for them, sort of, but if they mess up, legally, you are just as responsible, I think, as any age.
Well, legally, you wouldn't be if they're 18.
18, yes, but we're talking about like
17 and below.
16, right. Yeah.
Right, and that's just the letter of the law on a piece of paper. Then there's reality, right?
Right.
So Which brings me up to my next point. So I know I've been there, and you are there. You're a parent. I would really extrapolate this to a couple things. Number one, I would say it's the community that's responsible too. Your
Absolutely.
child, my child, obviously the principal of the school is not as responsible for your child as you are. But I would say, no, the principal has a part to play, in your child's success or failure, because if your daughter goes to Yale, okay, Steph, the principal of your school is going to be prancing around. Yeah, so she went to Yale from our school. Your principal is going to love to soak all that up. Your principal is going to be skipping. Oh, well, I had something to do with Stephanie's daughter going to Yale, but God forbid your daughter did something bad. He's going to be like, well, we don't condone that here. No. Oh, what's the matter, principal? You don't want to be responsible now? You want to take the one side, the shine, but you don't want to take that darkness? That's not how it works. If Stephanie's child goes to Yale, you are part responsible for Yale. And if Stephanie's child, God forbid, does something bad and illegal, you're also responsible for that. The same percentage. You don't walk away. So, and that's how I also feel with parents. If and when my kid or anybody's kid, or even my nieces or nephews, again, obviously a lesser of a but if I'm going to brag about, my kid got the award, okay, cool. But when my kid F's up, I have to look in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? Especially if it's 35 years old, I would say, obviously they're an adult. They're going to pay the price for something bad. But I would look and say, could I have done something different at 5 years old, 6 years old? Like what? Because if I'm going to take the glory for my kid going to Harvard, I got to take some of the blame for they did this or that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But you see parents wash their hands of that stuff, And again, I'm not saying a parent should go to jail if their kid's going to jail, but they should take some level of responsibility and same thing for the teachers, aunts, uncles. It takes a village. It really does.
It does.
Prop them up to Harvard, or if they're getting locked up in jail, you got to wonder, what did I do or not do? But everyone wants the glory, but they don't want to take the responsibility of, so that's how I always saw it. Like, it's my shame, my hurt, my pain. if that happened, or my son picked a bad thing or did it something wrong, and it's also my glory and my happiness that we succeeded, and we failed, and again, not to beat ourselves up, but that's how I see it. And I see it even when, like, your daughter, I coach her in tennis. If when she does go on to do great things, I'm gonna be, hey, I played a tiny little part in her life. Because I can tell you, think about your life or my life. Some of the people who only played a 2-minute segment of my life sometimes had the most influence on me through something they said or something they did for me in a quick moment. So we all have a little. Obviously, I don't carry the weight that you and your family do, but you know what I'm saying? I think everyone has a part, whether it's a 1% part or a 90% part. And it doesn't stop at 18 because on paper it says 18. Like,
No.
It's just different. The responsibility, like at 1, you're breastfeeding. You're still not breastfeeding them at 35, but you still maybe have a part to play in their life. All right, Steph, what do you say about all that?
No, I agree with you on that. I think that, well, it of course takes a village to raise children, and everybody that comes into my child's life, including you, plays an important role, and you have to do the best that you can. You have to be strong in what it is that your values are. You teach them, and you hope and you pray, right, that they're going to make the right choices and the best decisions for themselves. And as you do that, you give them more and more independence, and you hope that those values will continue to hold through. Recognizing, I think, too, that, at some point, and this is where I'm at, their friends and their peers take on a much bigger priority and a much bigger influence than anything that you or I say.
Of course.
So part of parenting too is, I think, teaching your children how to pick good friends, how to keep good company,
right,
that reflect who they are.
And we teach them that by how we pick our friends. We don't have to verbally tell them. They can see it. Oh, mom and dad hang out with those types of people, or mom and dad drink a lot of liquor, or mom and dad work out a lot, or mom and dad go to church a lot, or mom and dad, whatever. Nothing's a guarantee, but you stack odds to the kid's favor or detriment. But yeah, I mean, that's how we teach it. All right. So yeah, I mean, because it really kind of turns me off when I see some kid do something bad and they're like 15 or 16, and like the parents almost detach themselves from. It's like, no, you are part of the problem. Sorry, don't run away from it. And it's like, and again, I'm not saying look at me, I'm perfect, but I'm just speaking about the truth of my life. And for instance, back to the first thing about my door's always open. So my employees, people who work for me, if and when they mess up or there is a mess up and they're in the mix of it, 100% of the time, I push them aside. I deal with the customer. I say, I am taking responsibility for this. I am wrong. And the customers will say, no. It was your employee. No. I am wrong. You know why? I chose them to do this particular job or thing. And I want to be the boss and make money, but now I don't want to be the boss. No, I'm going to be the boss when it hurts too. And I tell them, I go, I'm the captain of this ship. You and I are going to deal with each other now. Okay, the employees off to the side. I'll deal with them later. But right now, I'm 100% in charge, and I take this blame. And so that's that. And then after I get my ass kicked, whatever, I, pull aside my staff member, and then I apologize to the staff member because I go, you know what? I am the boss. I chose you. I chose to hire you. I chose to train you. If this messed up, it's my judgment. I made poor judgment. I put somebody in this place that couldn't do it or shouldn't do it, or I have apologized to staff sometimes and said, you know what? I apologize to you. Yes, you messed up, but I ill-prepared you. I ill-trained you. And then I put you out there because I can see the mistake you made. It wasn't that you knew better and you made it, or even if you did know better and you messed up, what does that say about me? Who am I picking to work for me? Like, again, I am the a-hole. You know what I'm saying? So then that's the same mentality I think we should bring to anything in life, parenting. Then you become powerful. And if that person makes that same mistake twice, then I can them. That's it. Because we rectified it, we trained over it. I messed up, and then even if I can them, which I very rarely do, you got to be really egregious. And, most people are good. They want to work. They want to do good, whatever. But it's like, I am the problem. I am the boss. Like, so everybody wants to be the boss until it's time to be the boss. Then they act like, whoa. So, anyways, I'm just saying, like, yeah, when we see kids do, and I get it, we can't control every single friggin' thing. I understand that, and we have free will, and kids have free will. But it's just always interesting to me, like, people shy away from, oh, my kid did that. I don't know, It's like, but when they went to Harvard, that's it. That's my boy. That's my girl. Yeah. Oh, you had everything to do with it, right? Mom, dad, yeah, okay, yeah. Anyways, so blah blah blah. All right. Anything else, Steph, you want to add to that before we move on to our last thingy?
No, I mean, you brought up a couple of really good points. And I think one of the things that you mentioned was, you apologize. I think as parents, and I try to do this, I probably don't do it enough. We need to apologize to our kids too when we make mistakes.
Yeah,
and we do. We make them all the time.
Right. And if you want your kid to apologize as an adult, parents need to apologize to the kids. And yeah. And go ahead, Steph, you were going to say.
Yeah, no. I think that's, again, and I should probably do more of it, but I do try. Like, there are times probably when I'm short-tempered, and it's not necessarily because of something that my child did. It's probably more because of what I have going on in the background and, stuff like that. So try to say, I'm sorry. It really wasn't about you. That was more because I had a bad day or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I try to do it. I probably should do it more, but we need to do that too, because if we want them to apologize
100%
and to backtrack and correct their mistakes, we have to show them that we do that too.
Yeah, it creates humility. Parents, caregivers, type in down in the comments. What do you think? I mean, do you say you're sorry or not or whatever? Yeah, I mean, growing up, I don't think my parents ever apologized. And they did it.
No.
Wow, what are they, perfect? No, but they never apologized. Yeah, and I did apologize, to my son and in the past and stuff. And I'm glad I did, because yeah, it showed him, and then sure enough, you're right, Steph. He would apologize to, hey, I'm sorry that, it's like, oh wow, like I did something right, like in that, yeah. It's like, wow. And by the way, parents, if you're worried that it's going to show weakness, you're wrong. Apologizing shows strength, because when you apologize, it shows you have so much strength, you're willing to kneel, essentially kneel. You know what I mean? And that's it. You look at the story, and again, I'm not a super religious person, but let's just take the story for story's sake. The story of, Jesus. Historically, whatever, the story is that he washed the feet of people. Now, did anyone think he was weak? No.
No.
Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. You can go on and on and on. Their forgiveness and their saying I'm sorry or whatever it may be. No one ever thought that those people from history are weak. So that's what I've learned too, is to say, like, hey, I'm sorry. That shows strength. That shows, wow, you're so gangster. You're so powerful that you can just say, I'm sorry. I think when you don't say you're sorry, I know for a fact that people who don't say they're sorry, I'm not saying walk around every day saying you're sorry, but when it's warranted, legit, and if you say you're sorry, and we're going to get into the next topic, why can't people forgive, I think that's a sign of weakness when someone can't even think about a time in their life when they said they were sorry, and they can't even name it, and they only can name one time in their life they said they were sorry, and they're 100 years old. It's like, come on, you're a weak person, and that's fine. People are weak, but yeah, when you can say you're sorry, Anyway,
and it's so much harder, right? It's so much harder to admit your mistakes, and it's so much harder to say you're sorry than it is to give a compliment.
100%.
It's definitely the stronger thing to do, for sure.
Yes, folks, trust me. I have had to do the mea culpa in front of people and cameras, and I'm nobody. I put the foot in the mouth. I'm the best at putting the foot in the mouth, and when I'm wrong, I have to say. But when you do it though, and you say you're genuinely sorry, or I messed up, or whatever, and you take responsibility, you become bulletproof. You become, because again, it's a truth. You're not hiding. You're not, well, I'm blaming my genes, my genetics, my parents, my country, bro. Take it. You messed up. I messed up. I mess up. Anyways, the next topic. Okay. So why can't I see? I'm going blind, man. All right. Why can't some people forgive? Now, I'm not talking about forgiving the axe murderer, okay? I understand. Oh, those are big ones. But like, look, 99% of the time, right? It's, oh, she said that to me. He did that to me. I didn't get the promotion. I didn't get the promotion. They didn't want to hang. We don't forgive for that bullshit, okay? So why, Steph, why do you think humans in general have a hard time forgiving? I have a theory, but why do you think people And I've had hard times forgiving too, by the way. Yeah, I'm a human, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I have forgiven, but it takes time, and I think with age comes maturity for some people, not all people, because I always say age doesn't equate maturity. I know people in their 70s that have the maturity level of a 15-year-old. But anyways, why do you think, Steph, many people have a hard time forgiving someone?
So this topic right now is one that's like, popped up into my own life recently for, for a very deep reason anyway. So for me, when you talked about this question, it brought up a very big struggle that I'm going through right now, right? So I'm in a situation where I have chosen to forgive somebody who has hurt me very deeply. And other people in my life have chosen not to. It's caused a little bit of an issue there. My reason for forgiving is different. Why I think most people don't forgive is because it's an all or nothing situation. I think they think if they forgive, then that means it's fine, it's okay. They accept the person back, and it's forgiven, it's forgotten, it's all good. Forgiveness is not for the other person as much as it is for yourself, and taking back your own strength and your own power and releasing all that negativity. It doesn't mean you have to take the person back into your life. It doesn't mean that you have to accept what they did. It's really for you, and it's really and that's the reason. But I think that some people think that if you forgive, it means that you're saying it's okay. Whatever that person did, it's okay.
Or you're showing weakness by forgiving.
Yes, like it's a sign of weakness, and you're just accepting it, and you're going to take it back, and it's almost like it didn't happen in the first place. That's kind of where I was at. I think you're taking it on, like your question to me was a little bit on a lesser scale. But you tell me your theory.
Yeah, no, I agree. What I'm about to say is overlaps with what you just said. So yes, I agree with you, actually. I'm just going to add something to it. So I think, in my opinion, again, we all have our own opinions, but I agree with what you're saying. I'm just adding something to it right now. And that is, I think we have a hard time forgiving, or sometimes as humans, we don't forgive, because when you hold on to a grievance, when you hold on to a grudge, you have a weird, demented sense of power. You're holding that thing over the person's head, whether they know it or not. So you have this perceived kind of bizarro power. I'm holding on to whatever, unliking, hate, a grudge, I can't forgive, because there's almost a weird power in that. But if I forgive, I let go, now I have nothing to hold on to. I lose that power. The irony is kind of what you touched on before.
Yeah.
When I let go and forgive, I actually become very powerful. And I have ultimate power, because now I'm free. I am cured. I don't have to have this cancer festering in me. But you see, there's an old saying. What is it? Like, you can't see the forest because you're looking at the tree. Well, if you back up, you see the whole forest. So we look at the tree of grievance. We look at the tree of, grudge. And that's all we see. And we can't let that go, because that's the power we have, and we have it over this person's head. But if we forgive them either to their face, or we just forgive them in our heart, we let that go, and we perceive it as, well, I'm letting go of power. What you don't see is you just gained the whole forest, bro. Do that.
That's it.
You just gained ultimate power. So that 5% of grievance you're holding on to, oh my God, I'm losing the 5%. Yeah, but you just gained 95%. But people don't see that. There's a study, and I would encourage anyone to go look at it on YouTube or wherever. They do this. They've done this study with these particular type of monkeys, and they put to trap these monkeys. I think to eat them, actually, or to get rid of them or whatever. So there's a glass vase that has I don't know if you've ever seen this thing on television. No. There's a glass vase, and in the vase they put a little apricot, like a little orange. So the monkeys will go into it with their hand. They'll grab the orange, but they can't take the orange out. And they won't let go of the orange because they want the orange. So now they're trapped by their own fruition and their own will. They're trapped. All the monkey has to do to escape and survive and leave the trap is let go of the fruit, and then you're free. But that fruit represents the not forgiving for us, the grudge. No matter what, we will not forgive. But in essence, we're killing ourselves. We're rotting from inside. You know, the proverbial, we're in a trap. But we can't get rid of that 5% because we can't see if we let go, we get 95% of freedom. We get freedom. We get, so that's what we do to ourselves oftentimes. You know, we can't let go no matter what. You know, and so by the way, to your point too, you know, we think if we forgive, you know, that we're going to be weak, or you know, we're going to be seen as weak, and we think if we forgive that whatchamacallit, we have to be the best friend to that person. You know, I'm going through something similar. It's like I'm in my life, I have forgiven somebody, and I still treat them with respect and all this stuff, but you know, it's I'm not close to them anymore. You know, so but in my mind, I said, you know, I can forgive them. I can still treat them with respect. You know, happy birthday. How are you? The holidays. If they need me, I'm there. But we're not close anymore. And that's okay. You know, like, but I'm not going to be like, you know, and so, yeah, I don't know. I think that, yeah, you can forgive and you don't have to forget, and you can work with somebody and be a colleague and be a family member. But again, no one's saying you have to be best friends, and you shouldn't. But
No.
I think it's incumbent on us to forgive, because, like you said, we forgive for ourselves. We benefit.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, forgive sincerely, right? Not like a quid pro quo or like I forgive you, but no, don't throw it in their face. You forgive, you forgive, or you don't. But if you do, you're not weak, and you just did yourself the favor. You let yourself go from the trap. And now you're bulletproof. And again, you can be cordial and professional, but they're not going to be your best friend. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your visual was a great one, actually. And that's exactly how it felt to me, you know, because I felt like the grudge or the anger and everything that I was holding on to was powerful for me, but it was destroying me inside. It was completely ruling my life. It was horrible. And I had to let that go. And when I did, I don't know, immediately I just felt like there was a weight lifted from my shoulders, you know, and, you know, the beauty in that is that that person now no longer holds any power over me, whereas they did before. And the grudge that you think you're holding over them, a lot of the times they don't even know it, and it's not affecting them. It's only affecting you.
Right. 100%. 100%.
You know, it served me no good purpose. Again, not saying that you're saying whatever they did to you is the right thing. I'm not saying that. You don't have to forget that.
Of course.
Not saying, you know, bring them into your life.
No one's saying be a punching bag, of course. And if
not
justice has to be brought, so be it. But
you can forgive and still not have anything to do with that person. Say, I forgive you in your heart or personally.
Right. But I'd rather not associate anymore. I think it comes a little bit more a little bit more of a issue, a little harder though, if you have to like work with the person, you're at the same company or maybe the same immediate family, you're going to see them for the holidays, like that, you know. So, but again, you know, forgive, but move on, and just you're not close anymore, you know.
Yeah,
you know, like that.
And in that situation, you know, I think just being, you know, being respectful to somebody else is also being respectful, I think, to yourself, right? So you've forgiven that person, if that's what you've truly done, then, you know, if you can give that person respect, that's a way of respecting and honoring who you are. And you don't have to do anything else with that.
And guess what? Our kids watch, they see, oh, this is how mom and dad address somebody they have a grievance with. I've had people, let's just say in my circle, that would, you know, shun people and over stuff and just, you know, kill them in essence. And sure enough, well, their kids learn the same thing, and now they shun people, you know, because there's no, it's very immature. It's like, you know, again, no one's saying be best friends, but wow, you're just gonna cut someone off like that. And again, they're not an axe murderer. So what, you know?
Right, and the backside to that too is, you know, everybody has a backstory, right? Everybody has situations going on in their life, so people make mistakes. And sometimes, you know, you're forgiving somebody because you know they've been through something, and you're going to give them a second chance. That's okay too. If that's what you've decided to do and that's where you're at.
100%, right? So you can forgive and also, yeah, patch things up and maybe be even better than ever before.
Right.
A lot of times
you've asked for forgiveness. I've asked for forgiveness, and I've been fortunate in times where I've asked for forgiveness where the other person has forgiven me, and we've been able to go on and have a relationship or a friendship or whatever it is.
And sometimes even better.
Yes.
There's an old saying, the weld can be stronger than the whole, so the whole of the sum. So yeah, I mean, but I'd say at the very minimum, forgive and move on, and by the way, not that you want to do this for this reason, but if the person knows you forgave them, if you really want to hang something over their head and they know you sincerely forgave them, here's the irony again, that will break them more than anything, because when you hold the grudge, yeah, but when you forgive them, you will break them to their knees, and they might not say it to you, but I've been the recipient of that, where people had to forgive me. I'd rather have them hold the grudge. I'd rather have that, because when they told me they forgave me, that broke me down in my mind. I wouldn't show them that, but in my mind, I was like, damn, man. Like I felt so weak. I felt like I crumbled, and I much rather have that person or people hold the grudge on me, because then I got something to fight about. Yeah, well, F you too. But when they forgave,
exactly.
they dismantled me.
Yeah, they released you.
Oh, but they made me feel like weak. They made me feel they achieved what they wanted to achieve with the grudge. So now I know they didn't do it for that reason. So right. That was a lesson I learned too. It's like, wow, that's just another, again, the monkey in the jar. I mean, it's like, if you really want to break someone down and put it to them, I forgive you, and again, I mean it sincerely. Don't be like, yeah, I forgive you. Like if you don't forgive them, then don't forgive them. But if you really mean the irony, the byproduct of that as an ancillary is you're going to break them, so it's really kind of weird. Life is very ironic.
It's true.
But you do it, like you said, Steph, you do it for you. I forgive for me. There's another irony in that. It's almost selfish, but you do it for you. I don't want to walk around with this cancer. I don't want to walk around with this weight. I don't want to walk around with this albatross. I forgive you for me. So now I can live, love, and have a great time. And
that's it.
And if I have to work with you, I'll work with you, but not an ounce more, otherwise, or it can strengthen our relationship, be better than ever. So there's a lot of pluses to forgiving. And like I said, our kids watch anyway. So is there anything else, Steph, that you wanted to add?
No, I think we really hit the nail on the head with this one for sure. It was a great topic.
It's next level grown up stuff, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't do it. And again, I know some 70-year-olds that can't do it. Age doesn't equate maturity.
It's hard, and I would say this too about forgiveness too. It doesn't have to be a one-shot deal. It can be a process. It may take a while to get to forgiveness, right. And that's okay too.
And if you're not ready for it, take your time.
Yes.
And it may not happen ever. That's okay too. No, don't whatever. But yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next week. Hey, don't forget, hit the like and subscribe. This is your DJ talking. Hit the like and subscribe.
That sounded a little creepy, actually.
Yeah. I always like to be like, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We got a problem in the cockpit. We're out of coffee. It's like, no, not out of coffee. That's my phrase. I'm like, bro, the end of the world can come, just not before coffee, please. I can't handle it again. All right, everyone. Thanks. Check back in. We've got a bunch of great shows coming up, everybody. Stephanie might get her own show, by the way. I don't know, man. You keep up with the lights and stuff. All right, everyone. I'm out of here. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.